Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat. I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom, and this is my little space where I've documented my knitting journey from project 1 through to now, where I have been knitting for quite a while, but I still feel like I'm quite a novice knitter, but I absolutely love the craft. It's lovely to welcome you here if you're new, and if you've been here for a while, it is really nice to see you again. I hope that you are well. I hope that you're finding a little bit of joy no matter what's happening in your life right now. I know that it's a strange old time, and I've got to say I'm really enjoying my second cup of tea of the day, and that's not because it's like, oh, it's Monday, which is the day I'm filming today, but it's like, oh, it's a new week, it's a fresh week. It feels a little bit more like spring, where we've had frosty mornings again, and then days where it's warm enough to go out in a t-shirt, which is really throwing me off. I feel really sorry for the birds and insects and plants that are clearly very confused by it all. But here's to a cup of tea. And I feel like I've been away for quite a while, but it's actually only been, there was just a week in between where I recorded a tutorial on the flowers that I will show you. This is the project that I've been working on shortly. I'll pop my tea down. So I have a few finished objects, more than I had anticipated, but my first one is this framework bralette by Jessie May. This is an interesting way of showing, but it seems to work. And this one was knitted using Paintbox Yarn's Cotton DK, which I have found to be okay. I haven't had lots of wear out of my other framework bralette, which I also knitted in this, but in a lighter colour. I have worn it a fair bit, but not enough to say how the cotton lasts or wears particularly. It does stretch out a bit, but it seems to come back in when being washed. But yeah, this is a great little pattern. It's very good for layering. I will be wearing this in the summer quite a lot, I can imagine, but again, layering in the winter. The detailing on it is really quite beautiful, I think, personally, and the way that slip stitches are and that the pearl bumps are the fabric that shows on the outer, I feel like it's, for me, it's got enough coverage, which is great. It's highly adjustable. Jessie gives loads of information. I think I might have even felt a tiny bit daunted when I saw the document, but actually she's given you all the information that you need for it to be useful. It's really very good. I did the same on the last one that I knitted. I omitted the triangles for the back. I'm a bit funny with layering, and I don't really like straps showing. I'm not that fickle really, but it's just I've got a busy thing going on anyway, that if I can minimise that I do so. And Jessie gives you the the cast-offs that you need anyway. I know so it's easy to modify if that's something that you wanted to do. I'm not sure why I did ribbing in the back, but I did. That was just something that happened. I think I was playing Dungeons and Dragons at the time and kind of got into a little bit of a rhythm, and this happened. So we'll see how that wears. Hopefully it will be good, but I'm really pleased with it. They're really practical, and I can imagine myself knitting one or two more in the future. Oh, we do have a little guest. Hi, Audrey. Audrey is the in-house cat/mascot who was sat inside, but it got sunny and I was going to sit outside to record, but the builders who haven't used pneumatic tools for maybe like 4 days were back out there with them, so I've had to come inside and shut the door. But are you going to come say hi? It's the best way of getting her to say hi, isn't it? But yeah, Jessie May top. I'm drinking a breakfast blend that Alex blended, and I've got to say it's a good one. He mixes it up quite often. Yeah, it's a really nice breakfast tea. But this one is my Bosula. I'm not going to be able to get it in fully, but I will try. And I think I've got some pictures, so I'll try and put them up so you can see it on. And I'm really happy with this. It's special not only because Marina as a human being is a very wonderful person, very good energy, lovely to chat with, and also a very talented designer. Marina's style is something that, I mean, I could only dream of. And the way this pattern is written is very, very clear. In fact, I mentioned last time I was really taken back by the short rows. The clarity of those was particularly good. I don't know why that's not kind of our standard when we're working short rows. I don't know. It just seemed particularly clear. And I got really excited about being able to do a bit of colour work on the cuffs and the hem. But overall, really happy with this. I did knit a size 2 and ended up going down a needle size, so my gauge is a little bit tighter, which I started to worry that I was going to end up with a lot more positive ease, which would have been really nice and to have something oversized. But coming back to being intentional this year, I know that I don't often enjoy completely oversized items, so I made this exactly how I know I will get more use out of it. I did the sleeves slightly shorter, so they are kind of like shorter than bracelet length, maybe. They're about here. It's a really nice length for me. It means that I can layer it with my east wind jacket when the weather's really cold and have plenty of coverage still, but also in the slightly warmer months I can still wear this and, you know, the evenings and things. This is knitted using a wool that Alex and I got spun this year. And this is 50% Jacob and 50% Valet. Both of them are that blend, but this one just has a lot more of the darker grey from the Jacob, and this one has just a pinch. Salt and pepper maybe. But yeah, really happy with this. It feels a lot softer than I had anticipated, which is not a bad thing. Like, really quite a lot softer. There's definitely a Jacoby ness that you get from something like West Yorkshire Spinners, but the Valet really softens it up and reduces the sheepiness almost. But very, very happy with this one, and I'm really quite excited to wear it some more. I have been wearing it quite a bit. As you can see, it's sort of a little bit, but yeah, really happy. Highly recommend Marina's patterns, I really do. Ooh. Gotta be careful, the light's gonna chase me round. And then finally, I have a sock. I'm very happy with this sock. I haven't woven in the ends yet. I finished it yesterday, the day before, but I put it on a sock blocker, so that's something. You can actually see it this week. I must remember what this is called. Yes, I did. I prepared. This is the pattern that oh, there we go. I started to follow. I just followed it for size instructions really. I omitted the pattern. I have been, if you follow me on Instagram at all, no pressure to do so, you might know that I recently took up roller skating, and whilst talking about and sharing some frilly socks and roller skates, which I'll put in a picture of if I can remember to, which might be my favourite pairing of socks and shoes ever. I was talking to lovely May, and we were talking about socks and what we wanted to do, and tube socks came up, and so I started with this pattern. So all the sizing that I did was exactly as written. I did the larger size, but went down, yeah, I went down needle size to compensate. And I wanted something a bit more, not relaxed, that's the wrong word, it was the perfect pairing. Alex can wear these, but so can I. So he has already tried to take them from me. Not very useful in a without pair, but he definitely rocks it. So yes, this is knitted using Woolly Mammoth's Natural Sock, which is an absolute delight to work with, I've got to say. I thought that the base might lend itself to being a bit more, feel a bit closer to the high twist BFL that I'm used to, which those lovely to, oh this is good, I'm like disappearing, knit with. It does, I don't know, it is rough on the fingers, but I don't mind that if you are sensitive. But this doesn't feel like that at all, and that's kind of how I imagined it to feel. This one is the Jasmine colourway, I believe. Double check. Yes. So the Natural Sock is 50% BFL and 50% Cheviot wool, and naturally dyed by Emma. And then Emma actually sent a little mini skein of the indigo dyed, which is really nice and works perfectly. The only thing that I did differently to what I have been doing previously is that I held, you might not even be able to see it, it might come up clearer, I can't quite see, but I held a alpaca silk lace weight that was left over, not leftovers from a project because I'm going to use it, the rest of it, for another one, but I know that I've got plenty. And this was from Back to Blighty, lovely Becky, who custom dyed it for me, and though it is very different in colour, it doesn't really show, which is quite cool. But it's got a nice padded heel. Hindsight, I might have done the toe too, just to see, but I do want to get an idea of how this wears. However, I do have 48 grams, so if I omitted a few rows from the leg, I can definitely get a second pair out of this, which is really cool to know. So Alex might actually get a pair if he's lucky. He could knit them himself, but I'm sure he won't. But maybe I will do reinforced heels and toes on his ones. Maybe I won't reinforce them at all. But it's really nice yarn, really enjoyed knitting them, and actually got quite a lot of enjoyment from knitting mostly a vanilla sock and doing a little bit of ribbing. I opted for 2x1 ribbing along the top. It's just what came to me. I thought 1x1 might look a bit, it wouldn't make much sense, 2x2. So I think this is, I'm really happy with this, and we'll probably knit these again. And I keep thinking about knitting some with frills for roller skating. But yeah, that might happen. So yeah, really happy with these. I'm excited to do the other one. And yeah, really enjoying this 52 weeks of socks so far. I think that's the 4th pair I've knitted, or 3rd or 4th. I've got some post-its for things that I would like to knit, and there's 5 post-its in there, so it's quite a few. So if you've been wondering, I know that they're releasing a paperback version, and for affordability it might be worth waiting until, I think it's August, so with the year travelling as fast as it is, it won't be very long. But really lovely book, and I've got to say, even for things like that where I knew I wanted to do a kind of vanilla sock, I didn't want to spend too much time on things myself, and actually the toe increases on that are just slightly different, and I really like the shaping it gave. And this was just a double stitch or German short row heel, and I really liked it. I don't think I've ever worked one quite the same way as it was worked, because I've always, if I've done it that way, done a double stitch or German short row, I have used the Fish Lips Kiss heel pattern. So it's slightly different, not much, but very good either way. Whew, I feel like I'm really talking today. What do you think, Audrey? You're a sweetheart. Yeah, so the rest are whips. I'll show you quickly whips that I've shown you previously. This one is halfway through a row because I am a tinker, but I last worked on it Saturday night on our virtual knit night for the Spring Intentions knit along, and I quickly, when we finished, I quickly darted off for dinner, so I haven't actually finished the row yet, but I'm really loving these colours. This is all Whistlebear Cheviot Marsh. This colour in particular is speaking to me at the moment. It is basically a neutral but a light green one, which I think's really, I don't know, blew my mind a bit when I realised. It's kind of holding it up to everything and going, oh yeah, this works, this works, this works. This pairing. But anyway. Yeah, so really enjoying this project. I am still overwhelmed and quite in awe seeing other versions. The single coloured version is particularly chef's kiss, but it's really, it's been a very wonderful project for me, and I'm actually really looking forward to spending a bit of this afternoon working on it. I say working on it, it definitely doesn't feel like work, but this one will be going to the Whistlebear studio, which is now open again, which is really, to me, very exciting. I know we won't be able to visit there for a while, but just knowing it's open and that people can visit it's really exciting to see the sheepies and the goats. Anyway, I'm getting through these quite quickly, but also there are a few more. This one doesn't look like much, I'm afraid, yet. So here's a bit of stockinette that I've been working on. I cast this on the other day. I feel like I wanted to have a project that was in the round, very simple to do, on the needles that I can take out with me when I'm skating. And not necessarily to do while I'm skating, but to sit down and have a breather and work on bigger needles, because although I would like to take the other one of these out with me, I feel like if I'm using mini circulars or DPNs, I do have to stay a bit more present, whereas this I can, you know, knit anywhere and not have to look or think about at all what I'm doing. So this is going to be the Heyo tank by Kiyomi Bergen. Is that right? The Heyo tank? Yeah. And I think it was released for free for a little bit. And I just quite wanted to knit another summery top, more just layers, things that I can mix and match with maybe my play suit or jeans, my linen, trousers in particular. I feel like I'm still missing a few non-mohair summer pieces, I should say. I do have quite a few mohair pieces that I can wear in the summer, but when it gets even hotter, I don't really imagine me wearing this until the evenings. So I have opted to knit it in the round. It's recommended to knit flat, but what I'm thinking of doing is putting in a braid along where the seam would be if I was to do it flat. So I think that might be really pretty. It means that I don't have to think about anything now, I can just drop the stitches down when I'm ready. And yeah, I might also adjust it to have thinner straps. I think that's probably likely to happen. Again, if it's for the summer, for me, the less material kind of the better. It's just more airy, more roomy. So I have opted to do the second size on this, and I think this will give me quite a bit of ease, but I think that's going to be a good thing. I can then wear like a bikini top or a framework bralette and be really flowy, if that makes sense. And this yarn is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can, I'm gonna show you. So this was another lovely gift from Maud, who absolutely 100% spoiled me. And this is called Organic Trio, and it is 50% organic merino, 25% organic cotton, and then 25% silk. And it's really hard to describe. It's really soft, but a bit sort of tweedy almost. I really quite like how it feels, and it's fingering weight, maybe even light fingering. It's 230 meters per 50 grams, but this colour, it's just, yeah. Maybe I should move back. Yeah, gorgeous. And maybe I was thinking it was a bit brighter than what I'm used to, but then I saw this hat and I thought, oh no, it's kind of what I've been drawn to in the last sort of few months. This goes surprisingly well with a lot of what I wear, and I guess I wear a lot of black and grey, but it seems to be fairly across the board when I wear spring colours, so sort of more whites and dusty pinks and dusky blues and sea greens. So I'm thinking this is going to be a similar thing. It will go with all my denims, all my blacks, all my linens, and that makes it kind of perfect for my wardrobe. So yeah, it's a nice bit of stockinette that is going to hopefully be something quite nice, but we will see. I'm going to hit pause because while I'm speaking quite quickly, I've actually spotted it, and we know that sometimes I forget, and I don't really like the unorganic thing of having to do something a second time. This one is living by the sofa, and I'll only show it briefly because really I haven't done very much on it. But this was the flowers that I shared last week, and I've just knitted some more. I'm still undecided if this is where I'm going to finish and start dividing for the sleeve, so it's really fairly cropped, or if I'm going to do a little bit more knitting to make it a longer piece. But I am going to steek it and turn it into a cardigan. I'm really happy with it so far, and I did forget how nice the Drops Nepal felt. It is soft, and the reason that I purchased so much of it previously was for gifts. Family members aren't that into Icelandic yarn like myself, so for me it was a really good option. But I was sent this again, Maud, I can't even, I'm so grateful, I really am. This was a gift, and I'm quite excited to have something in Drops Nepal for myself, especially that's this lovely. I'm still torn between giving this away, but I do feel like it will go with everything, and if I do give it away I will be knitting myself another cardigan in this yarn, because it's like the perfect grey. It's fairly light, so for layering in summer it's going to be great, but it's dark enough for me that it shouldn't get too mucky too quickly. We all know I'm the toddler when it comes to clothing. But yeah, really happy with it so far. I altered this so this only has 2 rows on this chart section if you're someone that downloaded it and you want to know the difference, but that's all I've done. And yeah, really happy with it, and need to spend a bit of time thinking about decisions on how I'm gonna go forward with it. And if I want to do more of a crew neck or a v-neck. I think crew neck personally, that's more my thing, but yeah. The reason this is a bit soft, by the way, is that it has alpaca in it. In case that you have never tried this before. I took all the extra yarn out so it didn't blow over when I picked it up, but I'm going to go throw it all back together very shortly. And then the final thing was another gift, and I honestly, my heart, I couldn't be more grateful for the Ko-Fi support lately, especially for the flower pattern, and those that have purchased some of the yarn that we got spun, which is really, really like, I don't know, I can't find the words. It's so exciting and I'm so grateful. I really, really am. Yeah, thank you. Like, thank you a lot. And this was a gift from a friend, and Mary, you are amazing, and I really can't wait to give you a big squeeze in real life. I really can't. But lovely Amanda actually told me about Knitted in Yarn quite a while ago, and it was something that I honestly felt was completely out of my financial range, my like everything. It really, a bit like Peace Fleece, I never thought it would be something that, as a fairly new knitter, I would be confident or comfortable using or have the opportunity to. And Mary sent me a little care package, and honestly it was so sweet, and I will put Mary's Instagram back down below with calligraphy work, just because it's absolutely stunning, and the seed packages that I got with the handwritten writing just made me cry. And then this was underneath it. There's another, like a seed plate, I think it was called, that's also stunning. But so this is Knitted in Yarn. I don't know the colourway, but I honestly can't believe that I have Knitted in Yarn in my life. And honestly, without this platform, without being connected, this wouldn't be something that I would be doing. So thank you so much for being here and just watching. And then it's the sharing of knowledge, so chatting to people on how best to use Knitted in, and I found that the response was exactly what I would have given to someone else trying any other new to them yarn. Swatch, see what happens, see what you like, see what you don't like, get a feel for how it works. And I did, and I'm really happy. I only cast this on last night. I just wanted something, to be honest, that was completely fresh for me, and I was very excited to use this yarn and very excited to wear it, to be honest. So I was thinking about doing a ranunculus held single, and I thought the last thing I need in my wardrobe really is another ranunculus at the moment, though it would be lovely, and it is very tempting. I'm actually getting a lot more wear out of beanies at the moment, and again, that might be down to skating, but it keeps my hair out of my face, and I've been noticing that the longer my hair's getting, the more I want to tie it up, but it's getting heavy. Anyone else get that? You know, when it's heavy and you tie it up, even hair sticks seem to help, but a bit impractical, especially for roller skating. But yeah, so I'm knitting another beanie, and after a little bit of swatching, I kind of realised that the beanie pattern that I improvise, this one's slightly different, but generally like this will be fine. I have got a slightly smaller needle on this one than I did on this, different yarn, but I'm going to basically do the same, or I'm going to do the top in stockinette like this. I haven't quite decided yet. I think this is more my vibe for this hat for some reason, but we'll see. I'm quite enjoying having a project that is very simple, very comforting to me, and also reminds me of a very special person. Mary is on a very exciting journey, and I really can't wait to see how she flourishes on that new path. So yeah, thank you so much, kind souls. And I'm gonna go and spend some time with this today too. I think this one might be a project that I sit in the garden with you for a little bit. Yeah, we sit in the garden and do some emailing and respond to some comments from the weekend, which is really nice to do on a Monday or a Tuesday. it kind of brings me back fully into the knitting world and makes me feel a lot closer to yourself. Like, sitting here talking, it really doesn't feel like a one-way conversation. It's just slightly delayed in a response, which I'm quite okay with. I quite like that sort of pace of, even Alex was laughing that we were talking on comments from videos that are now over 2 years old, and they're still having comments and still able to bring up conversation, and I think it's quite cool. It's a bit time warpy, but anyway, it's got to that point where I'm starting to waffle, but got neutered in. Sniffles. Yeah, update wise, I'm feeling a lot better recently than I have in years. For those that don't know, I found knitting through a chronic illness, but I have definitely been on a very good journey of healing, and various reasons that and various things that have truly helped, but knitting has been the biggest thing that has helped. It's allowed me to be here today, I guess, but also to feel a lot better mentally, physically. It's, as someone that loves to be outside and loves to move, like I really love to move, knitting was a really good distraction and craft to get into to help still the mind and keep me very, very much engaged all the time. So if you are here and you've not knitted before, I do very recommend giving it a go. There's no judgment if you don't enjoy it, because we all have to find the right thing for us. Punch needle's quite a good option to learn if you're someone that quite enjoys more colouring in, or objects that aren't necessarily going to be worn. If you want to create gifts for friends and cushions and things, punch needle's a good alternative. And through being able to be here, I tried to go back to work a few times, it didn't work for me. I don't know why I'm sharing this now, but I think it leads up to roller skating. But through being here, actually the support, the suggestions from yourselves, from people that have been here for quite some time, I've been able to move this year more than I have since before I got unwell. Well, not more than, but as much as, I would say, as before I got unwell, very differently. So everything I'm doing now is really quite low impact. I'm still not letting my heart rate get too high, and that seems to really be helping. But the freedom to be able to go outside more comfortably and get a bit further away from home has been really nice. And roller skating, who would have thought it? I used to ice skate when I was younger. I only did it for 2.5, 3 years, I think, but I competed nationally. I absolutely loved it, but where I'm from, it is an absolute nightmare to get to an ice rink. It's at a minimum, it's 50 minutes drive, and you can imagine 50 minutes drive either way is a lot of effort, and relying on my dad, bless him, to drive me backwards and forwards, and paying for everything was such an expensive sport for a family that didn't have very much, and I don't know how I didn't find roller skating sooner, because it gives me that similar feeling. I can do it in a way that hopefully will help my body to continue to grow back and get stronger again, hopefully slowly build up my cardio system again. And it's got that freedom feeling, but it can be done anywhere, and it's really cool. And I couldn't believe how many knitters in particular and makers had taken this up recently, or in the last sort of year or so. So I'm really excited to see that and connect over that. Like, that's definitely something that's been happening too. So overall, I'm really grateful to have now found a hobby that is low impact, because for the way it feels very low impact to me. Obviously you can do it in a high impact aggressive way, but for now that's not what I'm going for. But also brings together makers as well, so quite excited to see where that goes. I've been using the hashtag knitters on wheels in the hope that other people will use it so that I can actually, so we can see each other, share, motivate each other. If you fancy it, do join in. That's on Instagram. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm just completely grateful that I get to be here and share once a week. I'm hoping next week to record about my knitted dress and how I did it, and hopefully give you enough information so that should you want to knit something similar yourself, you kind of understand the process. It's exactly as you would think, but if you don't have a grasp on that, then hopefully I can help, if that makes sense. I definitely don't have grading knowledge or the skills yet to be able to release it as a pattern for you, but I would do my best to explain what measurements I took, how I got to where I ended up. So yeah, hopefully that's of interest. If there's anything else you would like to see, never be afraid to ask. I really try and explain everything about a project that I'm working on, but I know that A, in the excitement of just seeing all my projects together, and B, just trying to talk to myself but trying to talk to you, sometimes I completely ignore, you know, simple things like needle sizes or whatever. But if there's anything you ever need to know, don't be afraid to ask. There might be a minor delay. Like I said, I every now and then like to shut off social media and even screen time, because that can, you know, that can get really a lot very quickly. But yeah, I hope that you're well. I hope that maybe you're trying something new at the moment. Don't be afraid to share what that is. I know that quite a few people are doing the corner of cardio, doing the couch to 5k with Hannah, which is amazing to see. If you also like to work out and you want something really different, the workout adventure series, I'm not told to talk about this, it's just really fun. There are 3 workout adventures that are free at the moment. I don't know if they'll charge them eventually, but there's a monk one that's really fun. So you'll go on a run and do some exercises throughout, very easy to adjust to do a lot less. The idea is you take a dice and you roll like you're playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's very fun. You don't have to take the dice. I didn't, but you can also use an app on your phone, so if you've got the phone for the sound. Anyway, enough of that. Whatever you're up to, I hope you are finding a bit of time for fun. I hope that you have had quite a bit of smiles, and if not, I hope that you can find something to bring those. Don't forget to reach out to your loved ones, send them your love, ask how they are. I think that is helping anyone that I'm talking to at the moment. Just a hey, how you doing? Makes such a difference to someone's day. And yeah, I hope to see you again very soon. Take care of yourselves and don't forget to love each other.